Hello, everyone, and welcome to Simply Spirit. My name is Jen, and for those of you who have been here before, thank you for being here. And for those of you who are new, thank you for being here as well. So, tonight, the topic is all about spirit guides. How do we connect with them? How do we know who they are? Um, Hello. Hello, Greg. How are you doing? I'm so happy to have you here. Hi, Linda. How are you doing? So tonight we're going to be talking about some spirit guides, and I do have some questions from some of you who may be able to make it, but may not be able to make it. So either way, you'll be able to go back and listen to the show. And hi, Robin. How are you? So you'll be able to go back and listen to the show again. So, um, yeah, so I'm pretty excited about this. There's a lot of things to kind of cover. Hi, Peggy. How are you? How are you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while. Um, so when it comes to spirit guides, we all have spirit guides. We all, when we're born, we all have a main guide who is with us throughout our entire life. And we don't ever, that, hi, Donna. How are you doing? So the guide that's with us when we're first born is not somebody that we know in this lifetime. Like we would have never have met this person. And so the moment we are born, that angel or that guardian, because they're considered guardian angels, is with us. And what the guardian angel does is kind of help guide us throughout our entire life, kind of helps us safe, keep us safe and everything else. So, but we do have more guides. um Hi, Sharon. How are you doing? So we do have a lot more guides than just our guardian angel. Now our guides can be archangels, they can be people that we have known in this lifetime, but they can also be ancestors that we don't know, or they could be guides that we've never met in this lifetime. They could have been part of another past lifetime, and they have just decided or just agreed to help us in this lifetime. And that's really how all of this works. Every single guide that we have has agreed to help us. Well, except, I mean, like angels, let me rephrase that or go back a little bit. Archangels and angels, and there are certain beings that will work with everyone. All they have to do is ask, right? But there are some, like our guardian angels, and I call them all guardian angels, but they're not all guardian angels. Guardian angel, I mean, they do, but they're a little bit different. But everybody has angels, and they agree to work with us during this lifetime. So some of the ways that you can find out who your angels are, and that was one of the questions, your spirit guides. We all have spirit guides. I guess I should be calling them spirit guides and not angels. But one of the questions is, what's the best way to find out your spirit guides' names? And really the best way to do that is to go into a meditation. And one of the things that you can do when you want to know your spirit guide's name, it's something that I did, was during a meditation, I visualized a blackboard. You can visualize a whiteboard, whatever you choose to visualize, and ask that question. Ask that your guide write on the chalkboard or the whiteboard what their name is. And trust whatever name that you see or that you hear or that you know is there. Whatever name comes to you, just trust that and go with that. And that is going to be the name of your guide. So that was one of the first questions that I had. And the next one was, do your spirit guides need to know you're going to be doing readings, or will they already know and will be ready? Now, here's the thing. Our guides always know what we're doing, right? They always know when we're doing readings, when we're not doing readings, when we're having a good day, when we're not having a bad day. But spirit guides like for you to ask them to help. They like to be helpful. They like a purpose. So if you tell them, okay, this is my symbol. Every time I pick up a deck of cards, that means I'm going to be reading. That means that I want your assistance. Then they automatically know that. It's in my case, I always ask them to assist me no matter what I'm doing, because yes, while I can do a lot of things, if I, need some assistance, then I like to have already asked that ahead of time. So while yes, they do know that you're getting ready to do a reading, you need to kind of let them know, hey, when I'm getting ready to do readings, that means I need your assistance or I want your input to kind of help guide me. So that's something to always keep in mind. Again, we have another one who's asking about, okay, their names. And that's one of the ways you can do that is by going through and having them write their name on the chalkboard. But again, just ask your guides, what is your name? What do you want to be called? Because our guides don't really care what you call them. It's us that needs to label everything. Like, they really don't care. You can call them whatever you want. It's just that as a human being, we have to label everything. We have to know what everything is, right? What I would suggest, and what I've done in the past when I'm working with my guides who are new, is let's say I'm meeting a new guide. I asked, for a guide to come through. And I also might be working with Buddha. I might be working with a goddess. I might be working with a god. There are so many different things that you can be working with. And so when I'm working with a new being, a new deity, a new guide, what I ask them to do in meditation is to give me some kind of sign or symbol that I know it's them without a shadow of a doubt. Now, that can be in the form of feeling heat on the back of my neck. I may feel tingling on one side of my body, whatever it is. But I don't just ask them to do that once. I will ask them to do that again, like the next day during the meditation, and then even a day after that. So this way, I'm very clear of who I'm connecting with, so that the next time that happens, I don't have to ask. I automatically know who that is. And you will get to know your guides individually when you start working with them. And there are a lot of different ways that you can start to work with your team and with your guides. And one of the greatest things that you can do is almost like an interview. You know how people interview each other? Kind of interview your guide, get to know them. Were they alive at one point in time? Were they on this earth? Were they part of your past lives? What did they do? Get to know who they are and let them get to know you. Have a conversation with them just as if you would a friend, because that's really how you build a relationship with your team. And that's going to be really important. Hey everyone, how's everyone doing? Hi Julie, hi Sharon, hi Kim, hi Amanda, hi Deborah. I hope everyone's doing great. I hope you guys had a great weekend. How about your numbers? Yes, numbers is another thing that we will definitely talk about here in just a little bit. So that's, you want to get to know who your guides are. And as I said, you can do that by doing a conversation with them. You can set up like a little meditation altar. Like, meditation is going to be amazing and something that is very important for everyone. Not only just to kind of ground and center your thoughts, but it's also going to help you throughout the day where you can connect. And when you get stressed, you can kind of go back to that and kind of get centered before you continue on your day. But you can set up a little meditation altar. And let's say that you're working with someone. Let's say you're going to be working with your grandma. Like, I work with my grandma. My grandma's always around, and believe me, when I don't listen, she kind of throws my stuff on the floor. Like, I have a little crow, or something, not anything that's going to be breakable. She doesn't do that. I mean, she's knocked my pine cones off, and she's knocked my crows off, and different things. So, but she does it when I don't pay attention. But what you could do is, if you want, you can have a picture of your loved one on your meditation space, on your altar. and different things that they liked. You know, whatever their favorite perfume was, or whatever colors they like. You know, you could have that for their cloth, whatever. However you choose to do it. It's there is no right or wrong when it goes to setting something like that up. So you could absolutely do that, and then just go into a meditation, just like normal, and yeah, that's pretty easy to do. So your spirit guides change all the time along your spiritual path. Your spirit guides will change from time to time, sometimes. Not all of them will change. For the most part, you're going to have a few guides that will always stay the same. And some people have guides that they consider their teacher guide, their protector guide, their doctor, you know, whatever the case may be. They have a guide that's specific for a certain thing. And then you're going to have a guide that you may go to all the time. Like my guide, my main guide is Chief. And I go to him and I talk to him about a lot of different things. That him and my grandma. Like I was always a grandma's girl. I always talked to grandma all the time. I was really close to my grandma. So my grandma is somebody that I go to all the time. I always have a continuing conversation with my grandma. And the same way with Chief. So those two are very consistent. But now you may have a guide that's with you for just a short period of time. Like there might be something specific that that you need to work on, or they need to help you with, and they're only going to be there during that time. It could be 6 months, it could be a week, it could be a year. It depends on what it is that they need to assist you with and to help you with whatever learning phase that you're going through. Or it could be that you're just really going through a hard time. So if you're dealing with a death of someone, you may have a guide that steps in just to kind of help navigate you through all of that. And then once that's done, then they go on to the next person. Now that also brings me to the archangels. Now archangels will work with anyone. All you have to do is ask, right? But sometimes the archangels will show up and make their presence known, as I've known that to happen. In my case, Archangel Michael decided that he wanted my attention, and obviously I wasn't paying attention, imagine that. And so he sent a message with not one, not two, but three different people who didn't know each other. And I got that same message on the same day. So it only took me, when I got to the third time, it's like, all right, you don't need to hit me on the head anymore. I get it. What am I supposed to know? So he's always with me when I go on investigations. Always. Like I call him in and he assists me on during that investigation, and then I release him. Yes, cardinals is a good way to know that your spirit guide is around, and that could be a spirit animal for you, Deanna. Or it also could be a way of letting you know that your loved one is around. Grandma seems to do that a lot with Uncle Jack. He sees cardinals a lot, so that's something that you might want to think about. Is there, you know, when you see a cardinal, what do you think of that? Are you thinking of a person? Do you think it's a message for you? What are you getting out of that? So that's something to kind of think about. But yes, animals can be very much, you know, one of our guides. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Ingrid. So that's something. How about we'll get to numbers. Ingrid, actually, I'm not doing readings today. I'm just talking about spirit guides and how to connect to your spirit guides. I can talk to you about that later, after the show or something, if that's okay. Yes, Archangel Nathaniel, absolutely. You know, there are a lot of different angels who will come around to assist, depending on what we need. And some of the angels have different numbers connected to them. And I do have that down here because, like I said, I made some notes. I always make notes so I don't forget anything, because I get Yeah. I get kind of lost in thought sometimes. Butterflies, you think of your mama? Yes. I know. We talked about that last week and that was so cool. I'm so happy that I was able to connect you and her together, Kim. How are you doing with that this week? Are you doing much better? Yeah, Amanda, that's who do you think of? Who do you think of when you see a cardinal? I mean, I think I know, but I would like to hear what you have to say on that one. So, good, Kim. I'm happy. That makes me happy. I'm so glad that you're doing better. So when it comes to 111, yeah. Yeah, with butterflies and Cody, absolutely. Absolutely. So who do you think of when you see the cardinal? Are you thinking of grandma? Of your grandma? My mama? Um, so anyways, 111 is is connected to Uriel. And Uriel is known as God's light. And so if you're seeing a lot of 111s, Nana, okay, your grandma, yeah. She's still my mama too, right? Um, so when you encounter 111 or see a lot of 111s, it very well could be that Uriel is trying to get your attention. So that's kind of something to think about. Now, 111 can also mean a lot of different other things. Like in the case, you think of your best friend Linda. Absolutely, Peggy. Absolutely. So when you think of 111, it can also be a loved one. In the case of me, when I see 1111, that's connected to my mom. And for whatever reason, that's close to, I would have to say that's definitely close to the time that she passed. So whenever I see 1111, I know that she's around. But again, what does 111 mean to you? And that's something I really want you to think about. Just because they're connected to angels and there's other meanings for these, I want you to really stop and think when you see a number and you start to see it repeatedly. What does it mean to you? Don't worry about what a book says, but what does that mean? Does that have a connection to a person? Is that the time of someone's birth or someone's death? I mean, what does that mean to you? The same way with 222, is connected to a archangel, Haniel, which is God's joy, and she represents happiness. Especially with relationships. 333 is Jophiel. 444 is Ariel. And then 555 is Gabriel. And 666 is Azrael. Now, this is kind of interesting because I've heard a lot of people say they talk about the angel of death. And believe it or not, this Azrael is also known as the angel of death. Now, does that mean anything negative? No. Does that mean every time Azrael shows up that somebody's going to die? No. Absolutely not. Death can be a lot of different things. Just like when you get the death card in tarot. It doesn't mean that somebody's going to die. What that means is that there's something that's going away. Like you're finishing up, you're ending with something and you're getting rid of something and something new is going to come in. I say our Father long before anything. Yes. Yes. So that's something that to think about. Don't jump to conclusions just because you start seeing a pattern of different numbers or certain numbers. Actually stop and think about what it could mean. Just as I was saying about the tarot cards, and it means the end of a cycle, the end of something. You could be finishing something up. It could be a project. It could be a job that you're working on. There's a number of different things that it can mean, but it's a meaning of an ending of something, and then that means that you're going to be going into something new, opening up, whether it be a new project, a new job, maybe you're moving, but there's something, leaving and something else coming in. It could be a way of thinking, you're every day your thoughts change, right? And so what you think about one thing today may change tomorrow. So it could be just that thing of, okay, well, my thoughts are changing. I no longer believe this. I no longer feel this way. And so now you have a new way of thinking, a new way of believing. And 777 is Chamuel. 888 is Michael. And 999 is Raphael. So he is God's healer. And so that is some numbers to go with the angels. Numerology is super fun to get into. There's a lot of different things, and maybe we will talk about numerology in an upcoming show. But let's see, what else do we have for questions? I've been told I have several, but no idea how to connect either. So again, connecting with spirit guides, you're going to go back to meditation, asking. That's something that you just want to ask. But here's something else too. When you start to see a pattern of things, whether it be you're seeing the same animal all the time, or you're seeing the same name all the time, or there's certain symbols, or you're having dreams of the same being all the time, start to pay attention to those, because those are clues as to who is around you. Now, you can have a loved one that was in your lifetime who was living that very well could be a guide for you after they pass. Sometimes, and I've not experienced this, but I've read where a person agrees to be a spirit guide for someone at the time of their death. And so this person, for whatever reason, after a short period of time, let's say, for example, there's going to be a baby that's born, right? So before this baby is born, somebody passes away, and this baby is born, and this person has agreed to be this baby's guide at that point in time. So, that's kind of how this works. And just like with, your parents and your grandparents, a lot of times they are still with you and they're guiding you. Now, does that mean that they're always going to be with you? Not always. They could be here just to assist you through a certain period of time, maybe to get through the grieving process. Maybe it's to help you with another project or something else that you're working on, and then they will go on to help other people. So that's something to kind of think about. So some of the ways that you can know that you have angels around you is by numbers, which we've already talked about, but finding feathers. Now you can also, this is also a way not just to know that angels are around you, but this is also for any of your loved ones too. So kind of keep that in mind. It could be a connection to your guides. If you've made that distinction, let's say one of your guides has said, okay, whenever I'm around, you're going to see feathers, right? You're going to see white feathers or green feathers or whatever color you guys agree upon, right? So for the sake of anything, we're just going to say white feathers. So if you're in your house and you start seeing white feathers and you've made that connection with your spirit guide, and your spirit guide says, hey, we're going to use the white feathers as a symbol to let you know that I'm around, then whenever you see that, that's to let you know that your angel or your guide is around. Now, this can also mean when you see feathers that your loved ones are around too. So feathers, coins, and pennies, rainbows, seeing rainbows, if that's what you've worked out, then that's exactly what it could be. Cloud shapes, feelings of being touched, different scents, but flashes of light. I've heard that a lot too with angels. But keep in mind that all of those things can also be for, hi Sandy, how are you? So, oh, that's so cool, Kim. She says, my baby's daughter is Heaven spelled backwards. I believe my mom had a part in her as a special gift from her. I'm sure she did. That's amazing. I love that. You normally find blue feathers. Do you know what that means, Donna? Have you asked? Do you feel like that's connected to a guide, or do you feel like it's connected to somebody that you know? I dream of people I've never seen in waking life, but in my dreams I recollect memories with them. Are they spirit guides? They very well could be spirit guides, Hazel, but they could also be people that you've had a past life with. Or it could be someone that's wanting to get a message to you or wanting you to get a message to someone else. So those are kind of things that you can find out. What I suggest that you do is right before you go to bed is to ask, or even during a meditation during the day, ask for those answers, just like not all of them at one time, but ask a question and wait to receive that answer and see what you find out. Because it could be any of the other. It could be a spirit guide. It could be somebody that's from your past life. It could be somebody that wants to get a message to you or someone that you know. So there are many different things that you can ask to find out about on that. It could be a lot of different things. So that's always something. We see dimes at home on the floor a lot. Andy's mama would always say, ain't worth a dime. Then that would probably be her around at that time, Amanda. Just ask if that's her and see what happens. Because I'm sure she's always there with you. That's the one that always comes over, used to come over to his house, to your house, right? Dreaming about my grandma telling she is coming for me on a certain day. I mean, yeah, dreaming about everybody. Yeah, that's definitely. When it comes to dreams, there are dreams that feel like dreams, and then there are dreams that don't. And the ones that feel like just a dream, it may be. The ones that we don't remember could be just a dream. Or if you remember bits and pieces of it, it could be a number of different things. But if you remember a dream in detail, chances are pretty good it was a visitation. So that's something to kind of think about too. So let me see what other questions. When you're doing mediumship, do you ask your spirit guide to bring forward a specific person the sitter is asking about, and can they do this? They can, and you can ask for them to bring a specific person forward. I know some mediums who do ask for them to step forward. They'll ask you, who do you want to connect with, and they will bring through that message. The way I see it is that you will get the message that you need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear or who you want to hear from. But if a certain specific person has a message for you, even if you're not asking for them, a lot of times they will bring forward that message anyways. So, I mean, I know that I've had that happen before where somebody has asked for a specific person, and yes, well, I do have a message from them for the person. There's also other people that bring messages through, and you have to explain to them that, hey, I know this isn't from this person, but you have another person who wants to talk to you. So yeah, it is possible that they can bring a specific one. But the other thing too is when you're doing a mediumship reading, don't just ask for your guides, ask for their guides to kind of help too. They're willing to help you as well. Just be open to ask them, say, hey, I'm doing a reading for so-and-so. Can you help me out with this reading? I know I did that with a person. I was like, right before I did the reading, I was outside and I was like, okay, listen here. I've got to do this reading. I'm a little nervous. Can you help a girl out? And so I didn't just call on my team, but I called on the person's team as well. I came back out and I did the reading in like no time, and everything was fine. So don't feel like that you just have to rely on just your guides too, because their team wants to help them just as much as you want to help them. So you can always ask them for their assistance too on that one. So hearing them. Now, Kelly, I know you asked about this one of what you can do. So you're hearing ringing in the ears and you want to get better at your clairaudience. One of the things that I would suggest that you do is to ask them to explain it a little more, to kind of tone that down, let them know that, hey, you're having trouble hearing them. Can they say things a little clearer, or ask your guides if they can kind of clean your ears out, I guess. I don't know. And say, hey, can you help me here? But what I do is I just ask if they can slow down, like they're doing it too much, or to help you find a way to understand what that ringing means. Because whatever that high pitched ringing is, maybe it's you need to raise your vibration a little more in order to do that. That's something that you might want to think about. I mean, that's something that I think we all need to work on, is raising our vibration. Because as a human being, we are at a low vibration. And in order to connect with our guides and loved ones in spirit, we need to raise our vibration. And so just raising your vibration just a little bit more very well could help with that. So that's what I would ask. And also ask them if they could help you to hear them a little easier. Maybe try a different method other than ringing in the ears if that's causing a problem. Even if they're speaking too fast, ask them to slow down a little bit. And so this way that you can hear them. You might ask them to kind of lower their vibration a little bit so that you can kind of meet in the middle. Raise yours, lower theirs, and then hopefully everything will work out from there. But that's always something to do. I think I've covered all of my notes. So now it's just talking. It's just chatting. Hi, Missy. How are you doing? I hear orchestra music. Is that a different dimension? Yeah, absolutely. Anytime that you're hearing any type of music that is not something that you're playing in your home or in your space, then yeah, that's definitely from a different dimension. So, always take note of that. And something else is that you can journal a lot of different things, when it comes to, you're welcome, Kelly. You are so welcome. Can you hear me now? Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely raise your vibration, because the more that you raise your vibration, the more you're going to be able to connect with your guides or anybody else who wants to communicate with you. And some of the ways that you can raise your vibration is by listening to music, going for a walk, doing things that make you happy. When you're happy, that raises your vibration. And when you're kind of sad or anything else, then you're at a lower vibration. So you always want to raise your vibration in whatever way that makes you happy. And okay, cool, Missy. That sounds great. So that's something to kind of think about. Now, I said that I was going to share a story. I'm actually going to share a couple of stories. So my youngest daughter, Samantha, was in a wreck, a couple of years ago. And I mentioned that, I was going to talk about how you always see these car wrecks and you always wonder how they survived, right? Because there's no way by looking at the vehicle that they should have made it out alive. Well, this was the case with Samantha. I mean, the car was in really bad shape, and she had to have a surgery, and she actually has a plate in her neck. Actually, they had to go in through the front and to put the plate in. But during this wreck, she had one of her little ones with her, and the little one did not have a scratch on her at all. And her Nana was actually with her at that time. A friend of mine who connected with her Nana, because I was just like a basket of nerves, as any mom would be, knowing that they didn't know if their child was going to make it. You didn't know what was wrong. I mean, there's so many different things, right? And so she said to me that she was there, and like I said, none of us, she didn't have a scratch, and she made it. And then Samantha had to have surgery. And so I was really worried about that. And the message was, I didn't let her die in that car. Do you really think I'm going to let her go on the table? And that day, Samantha has high blood pressure, right? And so, in order for her to have this surgery, her blood pressure had to be normal. And they were checking her blood pressure, and her blood pressure was as normal as it could be. Like, it's never been normal, like at any other time. But this time it was normal so that she could have that surgery. And so that's just an example of how guides and angels and our loved ones can help us when we need assistance. I mean, you've heard many times of where people will see an angel just showing up, or they see a person that's talking to them and helping them through it. And then when they go to look back, they're gone, right? And so, yeah, Kim, I know you were at the hospital too. I remember that day very well too. And so, yeah, but yeah, she was with her. And her Nana is still with her. Her Nana is her guide. And my mom's still with her. When she doesn't do what she's supposed to do, she always says that my mom is always tapping on her shoulder, telling her things. So, um, they're always with you, and they're always around. So when I found another thing that happened to me, and it was just one of those incidents where I was driving home. It was raining really a lot. There was a lot of bad weather. Couldn't see the road. And, all I said was, I really need somebody in front of me that has a light that where it will light up the road so I can see. And there was a truck that I don't know where the truck came from. Really don't. This was on the highway. Wasn't like it turned out from a little side street onto the highway or anything. And it had this amazing lights. Like, they were just so bright. And it lit up the entire highway. And we just kept going, and I stayed in those tracks. I knew I needed to stay with those tracks and just follow it all the way through. And I got to where I was going to turn so that I could go home. And it stopped raining, and I was able to see. And as I turned, I looked to see where the truck went, because the truck was still going straight and that truck was gone. Like, it just vanished. But I got home, and that again, that was just one of my guides, or an angel that was helping me to make it home. And we all have those moments where we have somebody who intervenes and kind of helps us. And when I first started doing meditations, and when I first started learning how to connect to guides, one of the things that I did was I just asked, for a guide to step forward. And they did. And again, like I said, I asked them to make the same symbol 3 times in a row. And I journaled all of these experiences. Now, don't think that you can only connect to people who were living. Like, don't think that that's the only guide that you can have. Don't think that the only guides that you can have are angels, because you can connect to what is known as ascended masters. And an ascended master could be Buddha, it could be Ganesha, it could be, some consider Jesus to be an ascended master. And so you can very much connect to every one of them. You can also connect to gods and goddesses. And again, it doesn't mean that you're going to connect with this god or goddess like forever. You can, if that's what you want, and if that's what they want, because it's all in agreement. Because just because they are a guide, they have free will too. When it comes to especially gods or goddesses, if they don't want to work with you, they're not going to work with you. So that's entirely, something that you guys agree upon. But you can also work with them too. And again, it's the same process. Get to know them. Talk to them as if they were a friend. And what are the purposes of having guides is just that, to help you. They're here to help you on your journey, and that's really what they want. So something else that I like to do is during a meditation is go to the meadow. And Kelly, I'm sure you've heard us talk about the meadow. And if some of you haven't heard me talk about the meadow, I'm going to explain that. So there's a group that I belong to, I'm part of, and it's called Psychics Unite. And I have a mentor who I absolutely adore. His name is Scotty Rourke. And he has taught every one of us to go to the meadow. And our meadow is a safe place to go to meditate and to connect with our team and everything else. Now, in this meditation and in this meadow, you can create it however you want. And one of the things is you just trust what you're seeing and trust who's coming forward and everything else. And in the meadow, I have connected with a lot of relatives. I've connected with a lot of people that I don't know. And the same with you guys. You guys can do that too. You can go to a meadow. You can create the meadow however you want. And you can connect with whoever you want in this meadow. It happens in Rex. When I was unconscious, I was told no, not now. I was told later that they lost my pulse for a bit. First time I ever said this out loud. Wow. That's crazy. Is that the wreck that you were telling me about that you were in that messed up your ankle, Missy? Yes, absolutely. Somebody just talked to you in a way you understand, but people you're with don't remember what was said. Or yes, absolutely. That's very true. Yes. Yep. And she will, Julie. She will talk about it. Um, cool. Yeah, you'll love the meadow. You will absolutely love the meadow. Um, but yeah, she will talk about it, Julie. You're just gonna have to give her some time and some space in order to do that. But she will. So everybody can create a meadow. What? Yeah. Okay. I thought so. I thought it was that wreck. So everybody can create a meadow, and you can go in and communicate with your guides. There is no right or wrong way um, in order to do it. That you broke your feet and your jaw and messed everything up. Yeah. 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 Wrecks are pretty crazy. Yep. When she's ready, she'll talk about it. Um, Absolutely. I agree with that. So how many guides do you guys think you have? That's what I want to know. What other questions do you have? If you have any questions, please ask them. Um, so how many guides do you guys think you have? Do you think you have one? Do you think you have four? Do you think you have more than that? So there is no number that you can have when it comes to a guide. You can have as many guides as you need to. As I said, some people have a doctor guide, some people have a teacher guide, some have different guides. You feel four, but unsure. Donna, you think you have two? You need some? Kim, all you have to do is ask. Ask for them to show up. Ask for them. Ask who they are. Just close your eyes and visualize a chalkboard in front of you. And when you do, ask them to write a name across that. Sharon, you know of three. Greg, you know of three. You think you have one that you've seen. You know you have one that you've seen. Julie, you have more than that. Yes, Greg, I know you have two that are animals. Absolutely. How many guides do you think you have? How many guides do you think are human? How many guides do you think are animal? Absolutely, Sandy. We do have, I agree with you. We do have many, but one main guide for sure. And, that main guide is there throughout everything, through thick and thin. of everything. And we also have a guide that's with us from the time that we're born until we leave this world. But Kim, if you really want to know how to connect with your guides, one of the things that I suggest is meditation and just really closing your eyes and just quieting the mind. And it doesn't mean that you have to empty out your mind like some people think. You can just quiet the mind and go from there, and let whatever happens, happens. Don't overthink it. That's one thing that a lot of people do when it comes to meditation is they overthink it. They think that they have to control the situation, that they have to empty out their mind completely. Like they can't be thinking about anything else, and that's absolutely not true. So if you want to meditate, just let it go. Don't overthink anything. Even when it comes to knowing what your guides' names are, don't overthink it. Just trust the first thing that comes to you and roll with that. If you see a skunk and you're on meditation and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I see this skunk, that really can't be a guide." It is. Just trust that. Go look it up and see what the skunk is all about, right? Find out what the meaning of the skunk is and go from there. What do you need to bring into your life? What lesson are you wanting to learn? Or do you need to learn? It's not what you want to learn, it's what you need to learn. And that's something to always remember. 4 human, 1 animal, but sometimes think 2 animal. That is unclear. Why do you think that's unclear, Missy? Are you overthinking it? Just let it flow. Just go with whatever. I think that I think you have a lot more than 2 spirit animals, but I think that you might think that they're just there for another purpose or another person, but I think you have more than that. Hazel, you think you have 6 and 1 horse. Absolutely. Sharon, what do you think the horse is trying to tell you? Horses are very good for freedom and just throwing caution to the wind and just playing. They like to play a lot. Hi, Nikki. How are you? How are you doing? So, do we have any other questions? Just scroll through and see and see and see. So how many has an altar? How many of you have an altar set up for you to meditate? And I mean, it's not necessary. You don't need an altar to meditate. You don't need anything at all but yourself. Yeah, Amanda, you're right. Grandma will always be with you no matter what. She'll always be with you. She'll always be with Sam. She'll always be with a lot of people. Let's see. Hey, Greg, can you go and block the person who is, I think I might be able to do it here. We're going to report this. Okay, hopefully we've got them blocked. Maybe not. Oh, we have a troll again. Okay, so we've got it done. We got that person blocked. Sorry about that, guys. Right, yeah, I hate that too. Yeah, with all your crystals. Yeah, that's another thing too, is working with crystals. That's a great way to definitely Yeah, I know, Amanda. That's a great way to connect with your guides too, is with crystals. So what kind of crystals do you like to use? Anybody have any specific crystal they like to use when they're connecting with their guides? So, if not, I think that's where I'm going to wrap this up. Um, so again, if you want to connect with your guides, do it in meditation. Pay attention to signs and symbols. And by signs and symbols, I mean, what do you see in repeating patterns? Do you see clear quartz? Absolutely. It's a beautiful crystal. Clear quartz is great for a lot of different things. But you can pay attention to the signs and symbols. Do you see an animal that's coming around all the time, popping up in pictures and people talking about them, or do you read about them a lot? When it comes to, thank you, Donna. I appreciate that. So you're welcome, Kim. Um, if you find other things too, when it comes to your loved ones, do you see like Deanna was saying, cardinals? Do you see those repeatedly? So things like that is something to pay attention to, but also make sure that you try to connect in meditation and get a clear sign or symbol on what happens to be going on. So before we get a lot more, I load up my pockets and bra with whatever. Right? Exactly. Yes, she has us all hooked up too, right? I love it. Amethyst, yes, it's a great crystal. So, but yeah, that's really what I'm going to talk about tonight on spirit guides and connecting to your angels and your guides. Meditation is great. Keep in mind that all you have to do is ask them to help you because they do want to assist us. They don't just want to sit around and do nothing. So be sure to ask your guides for help. They will help you in every single day. It doesn't have to be a specific thing. And, don't feel like that you're asking them too many questions all the time because that's what their purpose is. Their purpose on this earth or this time is to help us through our journey in life. So, with that, I'm going to end this little live. But I will thank you all for being here, and I appreciate all of you who have been here before, and I appreciate all the new people who has been here with this live, and I hope you'll be back next week for another live. It'll be on the same channel at the same time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock Central. Be sure to watch some other shows, Amazing Weeks. Next week, I'll get it out here in a minute. First, I want to start out with, on Monday, we have Psychics Unite at 6:30 Central. And if you go to the Facebook group, any of the groups, there's many groups. Check and see if there's a group in your area. If not, get with one of us and we'll see about getting a Psychics Unite group in your area. So that's on Monday nights. On Tuesday, we have Oracle Tuesday with Sharon. It's on the Shadow Hunters page at 7 Central. And then on Wednesday, we have the one and only Scotty Rourke with his show. And again, that's at 7 o'clock Central Time. And then on Thursday, we have Devin Evans. And she is amazing. Love her. I love all of these guys. I mean, let's be real. Like, I just love everybody. I love Sharon. I love Scotty. I love Devin. I love Greg. I mean, I love everybody in the chat. Come on now. So anyways, we have Devin Evans on Thursday on the Shadow Hunters channel at 7 p.m. Central Time. And then on Friday, we have Greg Koss with his paranormal show, and it's always an amazing show. He always has amazing people on the show, and we always learn a lot of great topics about the paranormal, right? So check that out. And also, there's a couple other shows that I want to mention. Tina Marie has a show. It's called Illuminating the Paranormal. It's on Tuesdays and it's from 8 Eastern Standard Time to 9. And then Carly Bird, she has a show on Thursday nights too at 7:30 Central, and it's on Carly the Medium's page. She does Oracle Thursdays. And another quick reminder is that on Thursday of this week, I will be having my own Psychics Unite chapter meeting. Hi, Jeff. Yes, absolutely. It's available for viewing later. There's a couple other episodes there too. But yeah, absolutely. It'll be on this YouTube channel or a YouTube channel. It will be on a YouTube channel, but it will be on this Facebook page for later on too. I don't remove any of the shows that I've done, so you can absolutely view it anytime that you wish. Yeah, we did. We had somebody who tried to crash the party, but that's okay. I got it taken care of. So we got that person removed and blocked and the comments gone. So anyways, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, and we'll definitely be back on next week with another topic. If there is a topic that you would wish to hear about, please let me know. Send me a message for those of you who are friends with me, or if not, join my page, send me a message there, join my group. I do have a group where we talk about a lot of different things, and I do some readings in there, so feel free to join that too. But until next week, I know, yeah, they're creepers. Until next week on Sunday night at 7 Central, 8 p.m., I will see you later. Have a great week. Love you guys. Bye.